Hello, sup, hi. I've dipped in and out of the Brawl Stars hardcore community over the years, and I guess I've kind of been on one of those dips recently. I say this because I've been being asked about when the next video is, or when the next tournament is, and to be honest, I don't really know when that is. Let's talk about videos first. I've always aimed to exist in the analytical, informative, die-hard sphere of this game, and the audience for that is just a small subsection of Brawl. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just have to accept that I'm never gonna pull as much as someone that just does general Brawl videos or makes silly shorts. Even though numbers are not my goal, it's still easy to let smaller numbers or quote, bad views, end quote, get to your head. Like hell, I probably only expect this video to get 400 views max because it's not really even on a topic, it's just a personal video on an already small channel. On the topic of small numbers, it does worry me for just a little bit down the road because while it isn't my ultimate goal, I think it would be pretty cool to reach the official tier of the Supercell Creator Program. But unfortunately, from an outsider's point of view, it kind of feels that everyone in that tier does the same content. They do update coverage, some surface level commentary, and then maybe a tier list if you get lucky. And even if I could get numbers from it, I just don't think it's worth my time to say and do the exact same thing that everyone else is already doing. Like for me personally, if something comes across my feed on a video idea that I was already thinking of posting, I'm like, damn, should I even really try to put the effort into this anymore? Like if I do it, I gotta blow them out of the water. Because otherwise you're just rehashing old ideas and who wants to watch that? I don't. If I'm actually going to post on YouTube, I want it to be worth your time to watch it, and I also want it to be worth my time making it. And I mention this as a creator program outsider because I've seen some newer, more out-of-the-box creators or people that genuinely just have a novel voice not get into the program recently. Again, I'm speaking as an outsider. I think the Supercell Creator Program is truly something great that's been put together, and it's a tool that helps both Supercell and creators in the program, but it just sometimes feels like a lot of the content I see in the Brawl ecosystem is very cookie cutter as a result. Also, let's talk about video shelf life real quick. Between idea crafting, script writing, recording, and editing, these things take a while to put together, and when you're in my position where you only have a few hours in the evening to work on these videos, the relevancy window for the video topic sometimes closes before you can even finish making the damn video. For example, I had to scrap existing work for the Ranked Problems Part 2 video and also a Katana Kingdom deep critique recently. I'm actually really happy with the direction Ranked has been going in over the last few patches, aside from a few lingering issues, and I could probably repackage some ideas from the Katana Kingdom video to make something that stays relevant regardless of what event is currently going on in game, but it's kinda tricky, and I guess it's more on me to adapt. My standards aren't too high, but I still want to post things that are worthwhile and interesting, and these ideas usually require an amount of research, setup, and effort, which is sometimes hard to achieve when you have limited time to work on a video before its topic becomes irrelevant. And I'm not even talking about update content. The turnaround time for those is insane. Tournaments! I might be a bit more negative in my head, but let me explain. I'm having a hard time finding a way to make my tournaments feel really meaningful at the moment. The practice brackets we were doing were good for a while, but the Matcherino changes have made it so that there's just a lot going on now, and there's not really a market for them anymore. Side note, I could probably make a whole video on Matcherino just because I have some pretty nuanced thoughts on it, but I'll try to keep those thoughts short and accurate here. In short, I'm happy that the program has been restructured. More opportunity is generally good. It just kind of feels like every tournament is still somewhat the same goop. 99% of the time, it's going to be RNG maps on a single elimination bracket, and there's not really any specific map preparation that the players can do for the tournament unless you do the exact same maps for the whole bracket. I just wish there were a few more tools on the organizer side to make customizing more possible. I've also considered hosting outside of Matcherino, but I'm not exactly sold on it. I used to do something called a Flexible Brawl League for a handful of North American teams, but commitment and long-term team cohesion just doesn't really exist these days on the amateur level. It's so hard to get everyone to play all their matches and or not disband after one rough loss. Yeah. And this is my uncle brain speaking here, but something I would like to do maybe far in the future, but I don't think there's enough want for yet, is a rec league for adults. I think it'd be pretty cool to get some older folk in a structured competitive environment after the 9 to 5 or college or whatever, but I just don't think Brawl's general age there is yet because most players are pretty young and or drastically stop playing once they get older. Maybe I'm just too old for Brawl. I mean, the age selection slider goes pretty far out, right? Whatever. I leave you with that. Peace.